it takes a long time to get where you're going. But, you know, it's kind of funny because back then I knew, well, I had like this idea in my mind that I wanted to be a storyteller, and I took creative writing courses. I took popular reading courses and fiction and all kinds of stuff like that before I even got to college. When I got to college, I chose a very practical career. I got a Bachelor of Science. I went into hospitality management for 15 years, and so I had a whole big segment of my life that was really non-writing related. A few years after, you know, I took some creative writing courses in South Florida. And when I was in South Florida, you know, I met a writing instructor who was phenomenal. And she taught me one very basic and very profound principle, which was show versus tell.
So what does your typical day look like?
Oh, I don't have too many typical days. I'm not a full-time writer. I actually write part-time, and I bartend on the side. Now, when I had said that I went to a very practical career, I went into hospitality, and I got a Bachelor of Science, and I did that for about 15 years in management. And I got to a point, around the point when I had finished Ashes and was shopping it out to New York and everything, I'm like, oh, well, you know, what do I want to do here with this? It's like, something was compelling me to, you know, I know I've got these stories in here. I have a talent for telling stories. I feel like I need to explore this. I need to go that direction. And so I got out of management, and, you know, I started bartending. You know, whatever. You gotta have something to pay the bills for a while.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so I've been doing that, and I love that. It's a great character study. I've been doing that for the last 5 years or so, and it's really allowed me a lot of time to focus creatively. I need it.
What do you find most satisfying about your job?
I would have to say that, you know, telling stories, I think, is fantastic. I think it's phenomenal because the world needs more stories. You know, for every writer that is out there that says, I'm trying to write like Stephen King, I was trying to write like Anne Rice or whatever. It's like, you know, somebody told me once, years ago now, very intelligent man, I told him those exact same things. It's like, oh, I want to be the next Stephen King. I want to be the next Anne Rice. And he told me, listen, don't even bother with that, because you have to worry about being the first A.L Mengel, because the world needs your stories in your voice. We have the gift to provide that escape. And so that is one of the things I love about it.
What are your tips for a young aspiring author?
The biggest thing, the number one tip that I can give to somebody who's aspiring to this career is to keep at it. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's true. In so many different avenues of life, but even more so, becoming an author. Now, there's different avenues to success with authorship. You know, there are authors who are immediately picked up by New York. There are others who are not. And it doesn't mean that your written word cannot be out there, it cannot be appreciated. An author, you know, needs something practical to fall back on until the books take over, and they will. When they do, you know, it's fantastic usually. It's a big industry with a lot of people, and there's a lot of room for you to get your stories in here and find your success. There's room for everyone. I initially thought The Mortician was going to be a flop. I thought, when I wrote it, I'm like, this book is going to flop. I know it, no one's going to read it. That's how I felt. I'm like, and it was kind of funny because after release, it was so well received. And that particular book was my most personal story I've ever written. The thing is that when you put your, when you go into the writing personally and you take it personally, that is where the magic really happens.